Um, yeah. All right. Over to you.
Hey, amazing. Well, yes, thank you guys so much for logging in to be here today. It is really encouraging in a world where like social media feels like the be all end all for digital marketing that there is such an interest to learn more about email marketing and how it can benefit your business. So this presentation is for people who have never done email marketing, or maybe you're doing it but looking to enhance it. So I'm going to give you some of my pearls of wisdom and the essentials you need to know in under an hour to get started with email marketing. But before that, I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit more beyond, oh, my button. There we go. Um, yeah, wanted to introduce myself. So I'm Olivia or Liv, doesn't matter. You can call me either or. I am the owner of She Blooms Marketing Strategy, and we primarily focus on social media and email marketing. But I've been doing marketing for about 10 years now, and my experience ranges from working with multi-million dollar corporations where our marketing budget was like $5 million all the way to small businesses and startups where our marketing budget was about, $5,000 or even less. So it's this kind of broad experience that has really forced me to get creative, to get really targeted and strategic in the way I do marketing, especially email marketing. But my journey to entrepreneurship and owning a business is relatively new. I started my business last August and kind of unexpectedly. I knew that one day I wanted to own my own business, but just never really felt like the right time. I have two little kids, so they've always kept me really busy. My oldest is 4 now, but when I was on my first mat leave with her, that's when I really started getting the bug to start my own business. So I did some, basic branding. I came up with my business name, a rough business plan. But then I went back to work, got pregnant again, had another baby, and mat leave with two kids is a lot busier than with one. So the idea of starting my own business just kind of went on the back burner. And then last summer, things were great. I had a great job with good pay, loved the people that I worked with. It was really flexible. I got a call that they had been acquired by our biggest competitor in the States. So this was a very scary time for everyone working at the company, not knowing if they were going to have a job or not in the upcoming months. I was actually offered an amazing job with this acquisition to be head of the entire marketing department for all the different divisions of the company. And as amazing as an opportunity it seemed like, I just knew in my heart that like if I was going to make this jump to start my own business, then now was going to be the time to do it. So I took a chance on myself. I quit my job. I started my own business. And within the first 8 months, I actually scaled my business using everything that I've learned throughout my years. I've scaled it to a 6-figure business and now have team members that help support me in my business. So, with all that to say, this isn't just about me and what I've accomplished. It's more so that all the things I've learned throughout the years of my years of experience, they work. And I'm excited to share some of these learnings with you guys today. So, getting into what you're all here for, um, we're going to talk about email marketing. So, as a social media based business, I would say about 90% of the inquiries that come into my inbox are people asking for help with social media. And they specifically ask, can you guys see my screen okay?
I can see the first page there. It says email marketing crash course.
Okay, good. It just mine says your screen sharing is paused. So I want to make sure you guys could see it. Okay. Sorry. Most people, when they pop into my inbox, they want help with their social media. And the reason they say they need help with social media is that they want to see more sales and they want more web inquiries. And the first thing I ask them is, well, what are you doing for email marketing? You say you want to boost your sales, but what kind of email marketing are you doing? Majority of the time, people say, I'm not doing any email marketing. And when I ask why not, these are the most common responses that I get. First, that they don't want to come across as spammy. I'm sure if you're like me, you've subscribed to all the different email lists for that free shipping or that promo code. And now every morning you have to go through and mass delete all these spammy emails. The other thing I hear is that I've tried it before, but it doesn't work. I haven't got any sales from it and it's just not for me. And then the last thing I hear is it's too much work and I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the time to learn it. So my goal today is to help address these 3 reasons of why you are not doing social media or email marketing for your business. So first, I want to convince you if you're not doing email marketing, you might be thinking, my business has been doing really great and I haven't done any email marketing. I'm getting sales. Social media is working really well for me, but every single business can benefit from email marketing. And we're going to start with some stats. So for every dollar spent on email marketing, the average return on investment is $43 for every dollar spent. So I don't know about you, but if my investment advisor came to me today and said, Liv, I've got this amazing stock for you that if you invest $1, you're going to earn $43 back. I would say take all of my retirement funds and put it into this stock because that is an unheard of return on investment. 89% of marketers like myself use email marketing as their primary way of generating leads. That's a huge stat. In Europe and North America, email marketing technology is used for customer engagement. 77% of businesses use email marketing as a way to engage with their customers compared to only 61% that use social media. And this is my favorite stat. Email marketing is 40 times more effective at converting compared to social media. And 61% of email subscribers like to receive email promotions weekly and would actually like to see promotional offers 2 to 3 times per week. So this fear that we're being too spammy by sending 1 email a week or 1 email a month, whatever it might be, people actually want, if they've subscribed to your list, they want to hear from you on a regular basis. And I always like to compare our business to something like Old Navy or Zara or Crate & Barrel. Like they spam my inbox multiple times a day, but I don't ever unsubscribe. Yes, I might go and delete most of the emails there, but every so often I do find one that grabs my attention. I click and I buy something. But the message there is that these big companies, they have no fear in spamming your inbox and getting their name to be top of mind for you. And that has to be our goal as well. This is our business. This is our baby. We need to shout it from the rooftops and promote it as best and as much as we can. So another reason why I love email marketing is that it actually compensates for social media's downfalls. Many people are very shocked to learn that social media it's not actually your sales tool, it's your brand awareness tool. And it's very important to understand the difference between a brand tool and a sales tool because you're going to create your content very differently based on those things. And that could be a presentation on its own, is how to create content for brand awareness versus sales. But we do not have time for that today. So one of the things I love about email marketing is that there's no algorithm to compete with. If you're on social media, you know how annoying it is when you've spent an hour creating a beautiful reel or beautiful carousel post and it gets like 50 views. And you're just like, I don't understand. I worked so hard. I thought this was such a good piece of content. With email marketing, you don't have to compete with an algorithm, which means you control who sees your message and when. Everyone that's on your email list is going to receive the content that you're sending out. It's going to appear in their inbox. It's not a guessing game. The only thing you have to worry about is creating a captivating enough subject line to get them to actually open that email. You also have greater reach with email marketing. So surprisingly, not everyone has social media, even people in my generation. My husband is a prime example of this. He is a millennial, but he has no social media, no Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, nothing. But what he does have is 4 different email addresses, all of which are subscribed to multiple email lists. So you're going to get that greater reach and reach those people that don't have social media. And even if they do have social media, Instagram only shows your content to approximately 10% of your followers. So with email marketing, you're going to just make sure that you're going to have that extra reach. And then another thing people are surprised to learn is that they don't actually have ownership over their followers, but you do have ownership over your subscribers. So there's been many times where Instagram has gone down, where people's accounts have been suspended, they've been hacked, and then they have no way to reach their target audience. But you don't have to worry about that with email marketing. In fact, this is a story that happened probably about a year ago. I had a micro influencer reach out to me who was interested in starting email marketing. She wanted to learn more about it. I told her that for her business, it would be really smart to start growing an email list so that if anything ever happened to her Instagram account, she is not starting from zero. Well, unfortunately, she decided that she did not feel the need to start email marketing at that time. And 2 months later, her account got suspended and she lost 15,000 followers, which was her entire business. And she had to start all over again. And then she reached out to start email marketing. So definitely don't leave it to Instagram to be the only way to reach your audience. And then personally, I find it way less work to do email marketing than social media, with all the things you have to keep in mind with social media, pleasing an algorithm, engaging, creating content, being on stories. It's just way less effort, but yields such great results. Now, where the magic happens is when you actually use both social media and email marketing together, because you're going to get the brand awareness with social media, the converting power of email marketing. And it's a really powerful thing for your business.
Olivia.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Are we supposed to be changing slides or no?
Yes, it's supposed to be compensating for, you're not seeing compensating for social media.
No, it's still in the first one.
Okay. I am clicking and nothing is happening.
Okay. We can include the presentation in the replay.
Okay.
We can't figure it out.
Yeah, it's just, I'm clicking it, but it's not doing anything. Let me try one thing, new share here. Share that.
There we go. That worked.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Still seeing it okay?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so now how do we get started with email marketing? The very first thing that you're going to want to do is you need to select an email marketing platform. And this is like a non-negotiable. I've had people say, well, can I just use my business Gmail account and just send out a mass email? No, you definitely cannot do that for many reasons. The first, an email marketing platform allows you to create professional looking emails. You can import your branding. You can have beautiful images in there, and it's just going to look like professional and clean, and you need to do it. With email marketing platforms, you also have automation abilities, which we're going to get into. You also get access to incredible analytics that are going to help you better your email content. You get information such as your click rate. You get information like your open rate. You get things called like click maps that show you where people have clicked as they are reading your email. And all this information is so important to have, so you can see what's working and what's not, and you can tweak and adjust for future emails. It also helps you to stay compliant with anti-spam laws, which we're going to get to at the end as well. Okay, so my favorite platforms, my first and foremost, most favorite platform ever is Flowdesk. And I think everyone should invest into Flowdesk. The reason being is it's very easy to use. And if you are someone who doesn't have that aesthetic eye for design, you can create beautiful templates very easily that make your emails look really, really good. You can incorporate your branding into it very easily. You can also incorporate your Instagram feed, so you can link that. There's just lots of options, and it's a good one. I think it's about, is it $38 still? Or maybe around there?
I don't remember.
I know.
There's codes for it too.
There's promo codes, yes. Now, I will say it's one of the more expensive options, but in my opinion, it is worth the investment. But I do understand at the same time that, especially if you're a new business, $40 a month, like you might not have that, and that's okay. There is there is a free option. MailChimp has a free option that gets you a decent amount of email sends per month. The downside to the free option is that you don't have automations and you aren't able to schedule your content, which can kind of be a pain in the butt sometimes. But it's give and take, right? So I would rather you start with a free platform though, and just see you start doing email marketing and then upgrade as necessary if budget really is a problem, because something is better than nothing. And then if you're someone who you're like, I am not tech savvy, I'm going to require a ton of customer support. HubSpot is a great platform that has an amazing technical support team. And they also have an integrated CRM in their system. Some other email platforms that are relatively inexpensive and easy to use as well are ones that are integrated into sites like Squarespace has one, Wix has one, Shopify has one, and they all start. I know the Wix and Shopify, or Wix starts at about $13 a month, and I think Squarespace starts at about $10 a month. So they are some good cheap options if you are on a budget for an email marketing platform. Okay, so we've gotten move this over here. We have gotten and signed up for our email marketing platform, which is amazing. And now we actually need a place for people to sign up for our email list. And this is going to be your website. So you need to connect, if you're using a platform like Flowdesk or MailChimp, you need to connect it to your website. So you can create a form or a pop-up within Flowdesk or MailChimp, and then you're going to have to embed it into your site. If you're not tech savvy, reach out to your website designer. They should be able to do this for you. And if you don't have a website, which you should have, but maybe you're in like the very early stages of planning your business, you can start building an email list right away. And if you don't have a website yet, you can create a landing page that will kind of looks like a web page that people can go and subscribe. But the key is you want to have a place for people to actually sign up on your website. I recommend a dedicated like menu item or an inline form on your homepage and maybe your contact page. And then I also recommend a pop-up as well. Oops. Okay, so now that we have a place for people to sign up for our email list, now we want to start building our email list. And we're going to do this with a lead magnet. Our lead magnet is something that we are going to offer our audience in exchange for their email address. And this is going to be something that is going to be specific to you and your business. It's going to provide some value to your audience. Some examples could be a downloadable guide or a resource, video, podcast, or free training, a quiz. If you are a retail-based business, it could be a promo code or a free shipping code. But basically, you want people to think, wow, like I got this freebie for free and it was of so much value. Imagine what I could get from them if I actually pay for their service. How much more value will I get? So once you've created your lead magnet, this is when we are going to use social media to promote it. So this is an example of mine. Sorry, the branding is all off because it was something I created before I updated my branding. But I knew a big pain point with my audience was not understanding their Instagram analytics. You know, you get your analytics on your phone, but you're like, I have no idea what these numbers mean. If I'm not getting viral reels with, thousands of views and comments, then it flopped, it didn't work. But in reality, you have to actually compare yourself to other industry benchmarks to see how you're actually performing, because chances are you're performing a lot better on Instagram than you think you are. So I created this guide to helping people measure their performance on Instagram, so to measure how they're actually doing. And what I did is after I created it, I did a series of posts on Instagram, just kind of teasing out the content from my freebie. And then when it was ready to be launched, I promoted on social media and I said, sign up for my email list, go to the link in my bio. And if you give me your email address, this freebie is going to be automatically sent to your inbox. So The key with social media is that they want you, Instagram is designed to keep you on the app. But if our audience is staying on our app and not actually getting off into our website or our email list, then it's not doing us any good. So we want to create content on social media that's going to get them off of Instagram and onto our email list. And that's what I've done here with that's what you want to do with your freebie. Okay, so now that we have our freebie and we are building our content, or we're building our email list, now is the time to start developing our content strategy for our email marketing. My number one tip is don't create content on the fly, kind of like with social media as well. We want to strategically map out our content and how we want to present it. I always recommend starting off with identifying some content pillars. And we don't want to focus on selling all the time. Instead, we want to provide value to our audience. So I like to stick to the 80-20 rule when it comes to creating email content, where in our emails, 80% of the email content is going to be valuable information for our audience. And then the other 20% is going to be that sales piece that we want people to buy something. So I also like to plan out my content using a content calendar, and there's more to come on that. So here's an example of some content pillars if you're a real estate agent, for example. So our sales piece is going to be our current listing. That's going to be 20% of our email content. The other part of the email, maybe we're talking about some real estate secrets. Maybe we have in there some buyer's tips, sellers tips, real estate myths, staging, decor and design trends, mortgage FAQs, market updates. The key is that you really want to provide that value. So when people see that you've sent an email, they're like excited to see, okay, they know that they're not just getting updated listings, but that they're actually getting valuable information that they can practically apply. Okay, sorry, I have to keep moving. Your face is over. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to talk about email automations. The possibilities are endless, and I love email automations because you got to put in the effort to set them up once, but then once they're in there, like they're good for forever. Some common email automations are a welcome sequence, which we're going to get to on the next slide. You could do a follow-up sequence. So this would be something like an abandoned cart sequence. There's thank you sequences, event sequence, feedback sequence, and these are so effective. I was actually a couple weeks ago had a call with my client. We were just looking over her email stats, and I noticed that on Shopify, you get tons of automations, and not all of her automations were turned on, especially her, or specifically, sorry, her abandoned cart sequence. So I said, hey, we should turn this on and let's see what happens. Well, within 2 days, she had about $500 worth of sales just from turning on this automation. So they work, they're easy, and they're definitely something you should be doing. Okay, let me move this over again. Okay, so your welcome sequence, this is like the bare minimum of a sequence that you should have in your email list. This is basically going to welcome people to your email list. If you don't have a welcome sequence, it's kind of like walking into a retail store and no one's saying hi to you, not knowing what to expect, not knowing what promotions or sales are going on. So you really want to welcome people when they've taken the time to subscribe from your list. So what this could look like is you get a new subscriber, they're automatically going to get an email thanking them for joining our list, what they can expect for being on the list. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy or complicated. It could just be like, a paragraph welcoming them to your list. And then maybe a week later, they're going to get another automated email that's about you, the business owner, to help build that connection and that personal aspect between your target audience and you, because that connection piece is really important when people are looking to buy from a new business or any business. And then maybe 7 days later, you're giving a review of your products or services. Maybe there's a sale going on. Maybe you're going to give them another freebie. So that's an example of what your welcome sequence could look like. Okay, this is one of my favorite tricks for easily building your email list. It's adding a pop-up to your website. It takes like, oh my gosh, like 2 minutes to create. And my pop-up on my website has contributed to about 30% of my email list. One of my clients, we added a pop-up to her email list, and within like 2 or 3 months, she had like 800 subscribers just from a pop-up. It blew my mind. So definitely an easy way to build that list. And the key is to make it easy for people to subscribe. So don't ask for first name, last name, phone number, address, all these things. Like no one's going to fill that out. I would either stick to just an email address or first name, last name, and email address. You want them to be able to fill it out within a couple of seconds. Okay, one of the other questions I get asked a lot is, how often should I send marketing emails to avoid appearing spammy? So consider this, that open rates and click rates tend to decrease with email frequency, but sales actually increase with consistent and frequent marketing emails. Essentially, you have to find a balance that works for you. I would always just start with a bi-weekly email or even a monthly email to get you in the habit of sending emails, and then increase your frequency based on the data that you have. But remember that from one of our stats from the beginning slides, that people want to hear from you, and you should be marketing and advertising your business and not being afraid to quote unquote spam people. And if people unsubscribe, like that's okay. It means that they're not a close enough lead that they're going to convert anyway. So if you see people unsubscribe because you're sending more emails, it's okay. Okay, a little bit on content calendars. Content calendars are going to help you stay organized and on track with your email content. So what I like to include in my content calendars, and you can find these calendars on Etsy, you can just Google them, you can make one up your own in an Excel spreadsheet, but just have some sort of system to help you sit down and plan out your content for the upcoming weeks. And then you can also create your content calendar for emails alongside a content calendar for social media to make sure your content is really meshing well together. So I like to include my content categories. So what overarching topic am I going to be talking about? Is it educational? Am I providing tips and tricks? Is it more, do I have a big sale or promotion that I want to talk to? Then I include my subject line, and you want to make sure that your subject line has a good hook to get people to want to open it. And ChatGPT is actually a great tool for something like a subject line to help inspire you to get that captivating subject line. You want to include what you want in your email body. You could even type it all out if you want, but at least include like the main points that you want to hit on for your email body. And then this one, so important, a call to action. I can't tell you how many times when people have said to me that email marketing doesn't work for them, they've tried it, but it didn't result in any sales. And I say, can you please send me some of your previous emails so I can take a look at what's going on? And there's no calls to action. There's no buttons. There's no shop now, contact here, or contact me, visit us online. There's nothing. We are not mind readers. So we need to be very specific with our audience, the action that we want them to take, and you have to be loud about it in your emails. This is where buttons are the best. Don't be afraid to use a lot of buttons. If you have a promotional offer, you'll want to include that in your content calendar. Same with your freebie. And you can include your send date and the email status just to help keep you on track. Okay, audience segments. These are also very important because they're going to help us to strategically target our audience. Not everyone in our sales funnel is at the same place at the same time for conversion. So we need to meet people where they're at. For example, if I'm going to be sending out an email on, tips or signs that it's time to offload your social media marketing to a social media manager, I'm not going to send that to the people in my audience who already have social media managers, like my clients. That's not useful for them at all. So I want to have, maybe for myself, it would be like people interested in social media, people interested in email marketing, people interested in general marketing knowledge. Like you want to have specific segments for your audience so you can send targeted messages to that audience. Okay, can spam laws. So one thing I always get asked when someone new is starting with email marketing and we're setting up their platform is they say, can I just import my contacts from Gmail, which include my mom and my grandma and my friends, and that's the start of my email list? You cannot do that. The main reason is that it's actually illegal to send any marketing emails to anyone that has not subscribed to your email list. You have to get consent and you need to be able to prove that they have subscribed to that list, which is why using an email marketing platform is another great idea, because it helps you to be compliant with these laws. At the bottom of your email, when you're on a platform, there's an option for your audience to unsubscribe, and the platform will automatically unsubscribe anyone who wants to do that. And it also keeps track of the people who have subscribed and when they've subscribed. So you have all that proof in case anyone comes after you, which I hope no one will, and I don't think they will, but it's always just better to be safe than sorry. And it's kind of like if you're going to just import all your friends and family, it's kind of like buying followers on Instagram. It's not really going to do you any good, and it's only going to mess with your analytics if you haven't organically grown your list. Okay, so some tips for creating visually appealing emails. Number one, use consistent branding. If you haven't invested in branding, shout out to Meredith. They do some great, beautiful branding, but definitely invest in branding. Like you want to include your brand colors, your brand fonts. It's going to make a big difference in your emails. And then you need to have a professional brand shoot to get some branded photos. Nobody wants to see stock images on their social media or their email marketing. So definitely invest in getting some good brand photos. And it feels weird to like put all these pictures of you in your emails. Like you're like, I feel super vain. Just like, why am I adding all these pictures of my face? But you want to create that recognition and let people know that like you're the face behind your business. So it's important to get those brand photos and use them in your email marketing. If you are using a free platform like MailChimp, they don't have pretty templates. They're pretty limited. Like you can't import your fonts. It's harder to make nicer looking emails. So if you are using a free platform, you can utilize a tool like Canva, where you can add in your branding and create some pretty graphics to import as images into your emails. Don't use font smaller than size 15 or 16 so people can read it in mobile. And then you want to infuse your personality into your emails, which I'm going to talk about on the next slide. And don't be afraid to break up text heavy email copy. There's a general rule to like not have more than 250 words in a marketing email. If you are finding that your like emails are a little text heavy, try breaking it up between like have a paragraph, have an image or a graphic, and then continue on. Break up that text with color blocks. So it just makes it easier to read. Is breaking up the text, even if there's a lot there, if you break it up, it feels easier to read all of it as opposed to one big long paragraph. Okay, and don't be afraid to use your brand voice. So you want to think about how you bring your unique perspective into your email content. And this is where it's important to, I would personally create a brand persona. So this is basically how you want to personify your brand to your target audience. Like, what is your tone of voice? Is it fun? Is it serious? Is it intelligent, bubbly, elegant, sweet? What kind of isms or quirks can you add into your email copy so it truly sounds like you? Because basically what we want to do is emulate a face-to-face conversation. This is where I love combining our social media marketing with our email marketing, because if we're on social media, if we're on stories, and if we're talking in our reels and people start to get familiar with our voice and the way we speak, we want to bring that to our email. So when someone reads one of our emails, they're like, I heard Olivia's voice in that email as I was reading it. That's the overall goal. Okay, so to recap, step one, we need an email marketing platform. Step two, we need a place for people to sign up for our email list. Step three, we need to create our welcome sequence automation. And then at the same time, we can be creating our lead magnet and start our list building, which we're then going to cross promote on social media to get people to join our list. Once we have a list, we want to start creating our content. We're going to use a content calendar to keep us organized on track. And then we're going to design our emails and schedule them and get them sent out. Start making money. That's where we are.
Olivia, you did it in
Did it.
37 minutes.
Yeah,
Good
I think
job.
it
That's
talked
a heavy
faster
topic.
than I had planned.
No, that's good. I have a feeling there's going to be questions, and we already have a few. Sarah's already raised her hand. So I'll read out Albert's question here. So it says, what would be an example of a follow-up sequence for a service-oriented business rather than product-oriented that would have a cart?
Yeah. That would have a cart for
it just means like product that has a cart. So a follow-up sequence for a service-based business.
So it could be asking for a review. So if you, yeah, like if a product review could be one. So someone makes a purchase and then you could do a week after they have received their product, you could set up an automation for them to ask for a review for your product or service.
Sorry. Oh, okay. Of the service. Yeah. He wanted some service examples. Yeah. 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 I also have one that is for the referral program as a follow-up. You have a referral program.
Mm-hmm.
The next is that good, Albert, or did you?
Yes, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Megan's asking, what is considered a good open and click rate?
Oh, that's a good question. So I know a good click rate. This is off the top of my head, and I'm probably the open rate I want to say is like 40% is good, if I remember correctly. Click rate 1 to 2%, which is shocking, is what's considered like an average click rate. So anything over 1 to 2% is considered like a good click rate. And one thing I forgot to mention as well, why I love email marketing and specifically click rate is this can help boost your SEO for your website because your emails can drive traffic to your website.
Right. Sarah's raised her hand.
Okay, I have a couple questions. Hi, Olivia.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, my first question is for your welcome workflow. You had mentioned, so you have the welcome email and then you maybe do one like 7 days later. Is that the end of your welcome workflow? And then you just commence regular emails after that? Or is there a kind of a rubric for that?
Yeah. So your welcome sequence, that's going to go to every single person that subscribes. And that is just going to keep going for any new subscriber. So you want that sequence to be kind of generic and have it in a way that it's not going to age. And then you can commence email marketing like anytime. Yeah. So you don't have to like wait until they're done their sequence to start emailing them. Like you can just start.
Okay. Okay, awesome. That's helpful. The other thing that I really struggle with is segmenting my email list. Like I feel like they can fit into, like each person can fit into so many different sequences. And then when I go to send the email, I'm like, I don't know, I'm sifting through segments.
Yeah. And you can send it to multiple segments. And some people might be on multiple segments, and that's great. Like they don't have to be isolated to one segment. It's okay to send to multiple segments, and you're not going to get it right 100% of the time. Like there might be someone in multiple segments that the email maybe isn't the most relevant for that particular person, but it's just trying to get as targeted as possible and making sure that like I said, for my example, that an email about offloading social media isn't going to my clients that already have a social media manager, because that's not going to do any good for them. I hope, did that answer your question?
Yeah. And I guess I'm just wondering too, like, have you, and this is just asking because you're the expert, have you come up with or come across maybe some segment categories that really work for, say, a product-based business or a service-based business?
Oh, that, I would say it's fairly service dependent.
Okay.
Yeah, like I would, what industry are you in?
Content creation, like social media.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you're in social media. So I would, social media, people who are interested in social media tips, that could be a segment. People who, oh, I'm on the spot now. Now my brain's
I know, I'm sorry.
I can help with this if you want.
Yes.
Okay. So, believe it or not, I probably have about 30 different segments. Okay.
Oh my God, that's so overwhelming.
It's not though. It really isn't. So I like to categorize them in a few different ways. One is like where they're at with that service. So a lead versus like a lead, meaning I've never talked to them. They haven't inquired with me. I have segments for people who have inquired but haven't worked with me. I have people who are active with me, and I have people who are no longer active with me. So I have status segments in addition to industry. So if I'm like, you know what, this is really good content, but it's only relevant to realtors, I'm going to create this very targeted communication for my realtor community, or like medical aesthetics, right? Because there's nuances within those industries that are only applicable to them, right? So also this probably isn't for you, but to answer this question, like on a broader basis, location can be a big one. Again, I assume that's Kimmy, the realtor there, unless it's another Kimmy, but like, you know, she might know that like a certain person on her subscriber list only wants to buy in Waterloo. So you would tag it or categorize it as Waterloo so that it is Kimmy. So that they're not getting, you know, market stats for a different part, or maybe it's by province or country, right? So I like to take on different approaches for my segments. And again, as Olivia said, when you create it, you can add in multiple, like a person can be in multiple categories, and you can send an email to multiple categories. And you can also say, it's these categories, but I also don't want it to go to these ones. And it creates this really unique crowd in your, is that all making sense on like the approach of it all? Yeah. Even
that's awesome.
For medical aesthetics, I know there's a lot of medical aesthetics here. Having age, if you know approximate like teen to, you know, whatever, 30 to 45 or 65 plus, because there's particular products you may want to highlight for based on their age. You could tag them based on like skin concerns, so like aging, acne, things like that. And then again, the more targeted you can make those communications, the less spammy they become. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Meredith.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. So Megan, is that actually Mandy? Just guessing based on the last name. She says, I don't know how to raise my hand, but I have a question. So,
oh, yes, me. So I think it's a simple question, but I've made it complicated in my head. But basically, I use Flowdesk, and I have 2 freebies that I've created for my business, and I've created workflows for both of them. But my question is, like, if someone went to my website and they like gave their email address to get freebie number 1 and then immediately did the same thing to get freebie number 2, are they gonna all of a sudden get inundated with emails because they're signed up for two workflows, or is there a way like in Flowdesk to prevent that from happening?
So if they signed up for both of those, they will get both of those workflows, but that's not a bad thing. Because now, did you segment those workflows? Like, do you have two different lists set up for those workflows?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so they will receive them, but you don't have to worry about them. They signed up for it. They were signed up to receive those workflows. So you don't have to worry about them being annoyed because they want to hear that from you.
Okay, I guess maybe it's the way I have it. Like there's a little bit of overlap in the emails in both workflows. So that
Okay.
would be the issue, I guess.
Okay, so then I would differentiate the workflows completely. And so be very targeted in your messaging with like, what are you trying to get across with each freebie? Like, what is the main message? If there's too much overlap, then you might want to consider combining the freebies. What are the freebies that you're offering?
So I do marketing for realtors. So one of them is content ideas and one of them is templates.
Okay. Templates for content.
Like social media templates for realtors. And then the other one is just it's like 100 content ideas for realtors.
See, I think you could combine that into one workflow. You
Okay.
could, because they are very, like, that is very similar.
Yeah.
So I would combine that.
Okay, into one workflow, but still I could still keep it as two
You could have
separate
two different
freebies.
freebies. Yeah. So the one, maybe the first freebie you're giving out the templates. The second one you're providing the content ideas, and you can talk about how to merge the templates with your content ideas.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would say when it comes to freebies, if you're going to be offering multiple, making them like very different, hitting on different pain points. So that
Okay.
way, like, creating segments specific to that freebie so you can gauge like what are people most interested in, what information do they want to get more of.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? No. Oh, Bree.
Yes, hi. I joined late, so you might have covered this already, but I was wondering if you had any experience or insights to share about using like quizzes to build an email list, and especially with like segments there, because that could really help. So just love to hear your thoughts on those.
I have personally never used a quiz, but I know people that have, and they've received amazing, like they've built strong email lists from using a quiz because it's interactive. You can make them fun. Quizzes are a really good lead magnet. Fortunately, I can't really offer much more than that. I've heard a lot of people using them, and they've had great success with it. Now, I do know you have to like find up and sign up because I have looked into it with an like an app or a program that can integrate into your
Yeah.
email platform. I think that's kind of the more complicated piece that you have to spend more time setting that up. But yeah, I know people do enjoy filling out a quiz as a lead magnet and getting their results.
Cool. Thanks for sharing your thoughts.
Anyone else? I think that's it. Good job. All right,
10 minutes to spare.
Yeah, I know exactly. I'll put the replay all together. I'll grab your presentation because I know we didn't get the first few slides, and I'll definitely include your contact information, Olivia. So if anyone does have questions, everyone's saying thank you, by the way. I don't know if you have the chat open there. That they can easily reach out to you. And I'm doing all of this through email marketing.
Yes, this is an amazing
This is one of my freebies.
Magnet.
Yeah.
This is an example, a prime example of a lead magnet and how it works.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Bye,
guys. Thanks
everyone.
everyone.